Hi guys, how are you? Hi everybody, how are you today? Listen, I'm just going to be honest with you guys. I dreaded coming on here today. I am tired of talking about this Will Smith situation. I mean, it's just, but it's dominating the headlines and it's actually getting worse. Like as if it can get any worse. You know, yesterday he made an apology. He said his apologies. And I accepted it. I liked it, but it didn't end there. There's still more problems to come. So we're going to talk today about the dilemma that the Academy board members are in. It's actually quite sticky. But before we get to that, we're going to talk about the most ridiculous backlash and the most popular backlashes that are going on today. So we all know that Drake, Tiffany Haddish, 50 Cent, Nicki Minaj all came out in support of Will Smith. We had some very famous people come out not in support of Will Smith. That would be Jim Carey. So I'm going to play you a snippet of his interview he did this morning with Gayle King, in which he said that Chris Rock should sue Will Smith. He was very upset with Will Smith. There's just no other way around it. So let's watch a snippet of that because this is all leading into a big controversies. But let's look at Jim Carrey's interview first.
It unfold and then what happened after?
I was sickened. I was sickened by the standing ovation. I felt like Hollywood is just spineless, en masse. And it really felt like, oh, this is a really clear indication that we're not the cool club anymore.
There was some question today about if anyone else had walked from the audience and done that, they would have been escorted out by security or maybe even arrested. The police asked Chris if he wanted to file charges. They asked Chris, do you want to file charges? And Chris apparently said no, he did not.
He doesn't want the hassle. I'd have announced this morning that I was suing Will for $200 million because that video is going to be there forever. It's going to be ubiquitous. You know, that insult is going to last a very long time. If you want to yell from the audience and disapprove or show a disapproval or say something on Twitter or whatever, you do not have the right to walk up on stage and smack somebody in the face because they said words.
No, I agree. I think we all agree on that. I just thought, Jim, that it escalated to that. You know what I mean? That it escalated to that level.
It didn't escalate. It came out of nowhere because Will has something going on inside him that's frustrated, and I wish him the best. I really do. I don't have anything against Will Smith. He's done great things. But that was not a good moment. It cast a pall over everybody's shining moment last night. You know, a lot of people worked really hard to get to that place and to have their moment in the sun and to get their award for the really hard work they did. And it is no mean feat to go through all the stuff you have to go through when you're nominated for an Oscar. It's a gauntlet.
So he had very strong feelings about it. He was very upset with Will Smith. Everyone says he's likable as a guy, but what he did was appalling. When Will Smith gave his Academy Award speech, he got a standing ovation. But you know who wasn't standing up? Some very prominent Academy board members: Robert De Niro, Al Pacino, Francis Ford Coppola. The word is they are very, very upset with Will Smith, including Jack Nicholson and Meryl Streep. Whoopi Goldberg, on the other hand, came out. She was also upset, but she seemed a little bit more lenient than the other was. She said that there needs to be consequences, but she feels like that the producer made the right decision by not having Will Smith escorted out. She said that would have been another 15 to 20-minute explanation of why they were escorting a black man out before he would know if he was getting an award. This upset a lot of people. Another outrageous comment, I just want to share this one because this is just ridiculous. There's a comedian named Mr. Ladybug. So many people are outraged by this one. Let me take down the banner. Hold on. He says, he's talking about Jada Pinkett Smith. The B's been bald. Jokes about it or her are fine. It was tame AF. You super sensitive about it. Buy a effing wig. Okay. That's getting a lot of traction on social media. Okay. Now, the reason, so people are really upset saying that he needs to face some kind of consequences. But they're going to have, the Academy is up for, they're in a dilemma. Oh gosh, I just downloaded. They're in a dilemma. And let me tell you why they're in a huge dilemma. And not a lot of people are talking about this. Back in 1973, Marlon Brando was up for an award, okay, for The Godfather, which they were also celebrating during this Academy Awards, the 50th anniversary, but that got overshadowed by Will Smith. But back in 73, Marlon Brando won an award for The Godfather. He set up a Native American woman to accept the speech. What's his name? John Wayne, who is a known racist, was very upset about this. He was racist. He didn't want an ethnic person up there. So he charged the stage. He charged the stage, in which it took security, had to tackle him to get him out. Okay. That was probably just as bad as what Will Smith did. But what happened afterward is debatable. He was not banned. They went on to give him a Lifetime Achievement Award. So how would you explain banning Will Smith? They're in for a dilemma. They're in for a dilemma. Not only that, they have not banned, where's my list? Mel Gibson, Harvey Weinstein, Roman Polanski. The only person that's banned from the Oscars is O.J. Simpson. Okay. They're in a bind. What to do? Do you ban Will Smith? But you didn't ban John Wayne. You went on to give him a Lifetime Achievement Award. So people are saying consequences need to happen. But what do? Do you do one for one and not the other? Someone could go on and say, hey, you didn't ban the white guy. Why are you banning the black man? I hate to bring race into it, but that's going to be somebody's argument. They're in a bind. They're in a dilemma. Everyone agrees what he did wasn't cool. But what kind of punishment are we looking at here? I talked to a person that is in the inner scene of Hollywood, okay? And their suggestion was ban him for 5 years and give him anger management. You're facing the same argument. This person said, well, times are different. That was 1973. This is 2020. Can't really explain that. I think it's going to cause a big mess, a big riot. Most people feel that his Grammy shouldn't be taken away, but you have some people that think it should be. What do we do with Will Smith, who has since apologized? Some people accept the apology, some people have not. This is a dilemma. Let's talk about it. Because that's what we do here, people. Hey, Diva. Hey, V.
Hey, Sharrell.
Hey, Diva.
Hi, Diva.
Hey, Carey.
What's up, ladies?
Hey.
So the Academy is in a dilemma. Everyone says that some consequences need to take place. First of all, did you know about the Marlon Brando and the John Wayne situation? I was floored. I didn't know about it either. People are not talking about it. This man tried to assault a woman.
Yeah, that's bad.
But they didn't ban him. That's bad. Go on to give him a Lifetime Achievement Award. That's bad.
Yeah,
and,
right.
John Wayne is a celebrated figure in this culture. People, John Wayne, the Duke, the tough guy, we love him, we love him, we love him. They don't even talk about what happened. What do we do with Will Smith? This is a complicated situation.
You know what I think, Sharrell, on a serious tip? Like, I think what happened. I think that
with Marlon Brando or with Will Smith?
Will Smith. I think the committee should talk to Chris Rock, right? I mean, that's the person that was assaulted. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
right? To see if he choose not to move forward, like he chose not to file a police report, it's something different. Like I'm saying, like weigh in what Chris think. If Chris want to take it further, then maybe they would have to consider this, right? Just in my opinion. Nobody on that committee got slapped. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, and like you said, they didn't do shit in 1973.
They did not do anything in 1973.
Okay.
And what makes it more outrageous is he wasn't banned, and he got a Lifetime Achievement Award. And he's a celebrated figure in American culture.
Well, up until now, Will Smith has been Hollywood's hero.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now, he put a little blemish in this by doing what he did. I do not think they should take his Oscar or not give him, his accolades for having an Oscar because of what he did. If they want to come down with something like you're not allowed at the Oscars next year, whatever, then do so with that, because they do need to set a precedence that don't ever do that. Nobody can just walk up on the stage and physically attack somebody because they said something they don't like. So they need to do something about it. But to not give him his Oscar for the hard work and all the good, all the money that Will Smith has brought into Hollywood, I don't think that's fair at all.
But V, they did nothing to John Wayne.
Well,
why should we do something to Will Smith? I'm pushing back here. I'm pushing back. I'm saying
because I think because you have to do something, because we don't want that to be somebody gets angry and then they can go walk up on stage and physically harm somebody.
Isn't that argument still stand with John Wayne?
Well, not because it's gone. He gone. They gone. It's a new year. It's a new time.
You're one of those people say, well, that was 1973. This is now.
Yeah. What they gonna do with John Wayne now? Go back and take his Oscar? He ain't even alive. So, they have to do something from here forward so that that doesn't happen again. So people know that that's unacceptable. You cannot physically harm somebody because they say something that you don't like. So something has to be done. That nothing drastic, like don't never let them come back to the Oscars again. Nothing like that, but something that just says this is unacceptable.
But V, who discretion should you think? Should it be the committee or should it be Chris Rock? Nobody on the committee got slapped.
Right.
Okay? And Chris could have pressed charges. He just not. He at a certain point, like it was a bad situation.
Why? Okay, Diva, you speak first. We're speaking over you. Go ahead.
Well, they gotta set a precedent, right? So we do love Will Smith, and nobody's worst moment should define their whole life, right? So unfortunately, it was his worst moment that night. It was his worst performance. And I do believe that he's sorry, but unfortunately, you can be sorry and you can apologize, but there still has to be some consequences behind it.
There's no consequences for Roman Polanski. There was no consequences for John Wayne. There was no consequences for Mel Gibson, Harvey Weinstein. Why start with Will Smith?
Well, I'm saying there should be some consequences, Sharrell, because you don't want to have it that anybody can go to a regular show with a comedian and because they don't like what is being said, just go up there and attack this comedian.
Why not lay the law down now, and then the next time someone does it, there's rules?
Oh, I don't disagree with that, but they do have to say something, right? They do have to take some type of stance. I don't feel they should take away his Oscar. He earned that, and we can bring up many people that have won Oscars where their personal life is not stellar. So you can't go start taking away an Oscar because I made a mistake, because then you're going to have a lot to collect back. You better back up the pickup truck, okay? And start collecting Oscars, going around town and collecting Oscars. So we can't do that.
That's the same argument with the punishment. You didn't do anything for all these other people. Why start now? Why not just say, if this ever happens again, now we have rules in place? Why start with Will Smith? I'm telling you, John Wayne assaulted a woman on stage.
Right. And that's a problem, right? And that's why I'm saying the consequences should not be severe, Sharrell, but there have to be some consequences because...
You didn't answer my question. Why start with Will Smith?
Because we made 10 mistakes in the past, we're not going to continue those mistakes just in the name of, I'm sorry, I didn't punish that one correctly, so I'm going to continue and not punish you correctly. So then it will have to keep continuing, right? If the next person come up there and security doesn't catch them, I got to let that person slide too. I have to start right or wrong somewhere. And unfortunately,
you have to start somewhere, but there are no rules in place right now. Put the rules in place, put some security guards there if this happens again. Why start with Will Smith? How many people did we name off? Go.
Right, but Sharrell, we're going to start with Will Smith, but we're not going to make it harsh. But what we're going to say is we're letting him off lightly, but we want you to know that this is not going to be tolerated. And anyone else that comes behind and even tries this, we're either going to ban you for life or we're going to do X, Y, Z. So I'm not saying ban him for life. Just like almost like Jussie Smollett, Will Smith, no matter what punishment they give him, he's going to pay even more. Because even now, if he does a movie, Sharrell, and he's the best person in that movie ever, do you think they're even going to nominate him for the role? They're not. They're not. He's up big time.
Deny the argument, Diva. And I think we're having our second on-air fight. We don't fight a lot, but this is a second. You can't deny the fact that so many others have gotten away with this. Prime example, John Wayne. They had to escort him out with security guards.
But they can't keep letting people get away with it.
Well, right. They should have put some rules in place back then, but they didn't. This is the Academy's fault.
Right.
You have to have rules in place.
It's the Academy's fault, but then, which is like in life, we make modifications, okay? At this point, enough has been going on. Yeah, they should have corrected things back. They haven't.
If you correct this, Perry.
Whatever happened in 2023, they can't correct that neither because they're gonna go back to what happened in, this year, 1973 or whatever.
Right.
I mean, I get what you said. Like,
no.
The only thing, it's a hard.
If it's not a law for me to run the red light and I run the red light and they can't say, we're going to make this a law now and we're going to start with you. Make that make sense to me, Perry.
Well, no. I get what you're saying. You're saying put the law in place first. No,
put the law in place first.
I'm understanding what you're saying, but the only thing I can agree with, outside what the committees have done, I can see why abandon OJ. We don't need no stabbing and shooting. You know what I'm saying?
There's a law in place already to keep your hands to yourself. He assaulted the man. So there is a law against that. Will Smith is just lucky that Chris Rock is not pressing charges. So there is a law in place. You assaulted this man. You walked up on national TV, live TV, walked up to that stage and open-handed slapped that man and then went and sat back down. So whether you had a mental breakdown or whatever, what you did was still wrong, and there are laws against it. You're just fortunate that that Chris Rock did not press charges.
Speaking of Chris Rock not pressing charges, Will Smith is still not out of in the clear with the lawsuits because the DA could pick up the case.
They could,
which would be
but
bad.
they're not. So if the DA is not picking up the case, why start now? It's a legitimate question. If you tell me stealing grapes from the grocery store is illegal and I'm going to start today with you and you got to go to jail because we got to put some laws in order here.
I see what you're saying. I'm saying this though, right? Like, we get together. Why I say Chris Rock should be a part of that discussion? He was the one that was hurt in the situation.
No. I'm saying no.
Well, nothing happened in 1973, Sharrell. Nothing happened. Nothing happened to them other people that you mentioned. Okay, I'm saying if they're gonna make a precedent of it right now and say, hey, we're gonna start with Will Smith, then Chris Rock need to be the person in there saying, hey,
Perry.
Okay.
Listen, the board. There's a board at the Academy.
It was a board back in 1973,
and they're in charge
right?
of rules. What does that have to do with Chris Rock? I do understand he's a victim,
right,
but the board needs to make their own rules. Not Chris Rock. He's just a victim.
It was a board in 1973. I'm just saying this. I'm trying to agree with you to the certain point that no, you don't make it a precedent on him, the board decision alone, if Chris don't want to do nothing about it. That's just my opinion. Just my opinion.
I'm saying if somebody comes again next year and slaps somebody again because they say something they don't like, then they're gonna look back and they didn't do nothing. They didn't do nothing last year to.
No, V. There will be rules in place now. Anyone enters the stage, this is what happens. Anyone puts their hand, this is what happens. So it's fair across the board.
Right. Well, but you had to start somewhere, right?
You do.
And you had to start with Will Smith.
But it's not going to be fair if you go ahead and give Will Smith some punishment, and then the next time it happens, well, maybe the punishment isn't as severe this time because now there's rules in place. It has to start now.
But Sharrell, now a point to what this person is saying, right? See, the reason why I also think that they should not do something so harsh and severe, because they played a role in this debacle also. They asked this man to stay. They begged him to stay. That's why I'm saying it needs to be some punishment, but it doesn't have to be severe because they messed up also. You begged this man to stay. You sent several people to beg him to stay.
So you're going to blame the producer who that's why there needs to be rules in place. He didn't know what to do. This was unprecedented. No one expected this to happen. He did what he thought was best at the time.
No, Sharrell, if I'm having a party in my house and one of my guests goes up and slaps another guest, I know what to do. And it never happened before in my life in my house. So you getting out of my house, okay, the one that did the crime, you're going to leave and you're going to leave right now. So you beg Will to stay. That's telling people indirectly that you're condoning this behavior.
Diva, listen, this is not the producer's fault. He did not make Will Smith stand up and do what he did. So
he allowed him to stay. So if I'm the one that got slapped, Sharrell, and the person that slapped me, you telling them don't leave, stay. That's telling me indirectly you don't give a darn about my hurt face.
If you punish the producer, this will lead to so many other consequences. Listen, that man did the best that he could do at that time. If you say you need to be slapped on the wrist or you can't come back and produce a show again because you didn't handle this situation right, I think it was a situation in which nobody expected. There were no rules in place and nobody knew what to do.
Well, you need some counseling and you need a mentorship. Because you cannot allow somebody to come on stage, open-handed slap me, calmly walk back down and sit in their seat.
You can't allow somebody to come on stage and choke an Indian woman either.
Right.
I don't disagree with that.
Right.
But that was over 50 years ago, right?
That was in 1973. How long ago was that, Perry? I'm bad and mad. Long time. That?
Let me go.
Well, no, I'm
that's
50.
27. That's 49 years ago. Somewhere around there. What I'm saying is, no, we're not condoning what happened in 1973.
No,
but at a certain point,
we're not condoning what Will Smith
at a certain point, if we start a law tomorrow that speeding is illegal, the person who sped yesterday is not accountable. You get to start somewhere, right? I'm understanding what you're saying. You're saying, well, let's make these rules now so we know how to handle this.
Exactly.
Now, the committee is trying to make this decision, right? And it was the board back in 1973 too, right? A different board, of course. But what I'm saying is, I think if it's at this point, look at what happened and try to defend this from happening again. But at the same time, I don't think they get to stress too much about it. If Chris Rock don't want to do nothing at this point,
that's even crazier. You want Chris Rock to make the new rules and say what happens to Chris?
He was the
Will
person
Smith?
that was assaulted.
Okay, so what if Chris Rock says nothing should happen to him? Right, hold on. Let me read this really quick because I got to acknowledge my girl. Bonji says, Sharrell, your argument doesn't add up.
Yeah.
Chris Rock does not have to decide yet. Keep Oscar, but the Academy has to expel or suspend him. Oh no, Bonji, I'm gonna have to drop this thing.
Yeah,
I think this
right,
was a humiliation ritual. Go ahead, Perry.
Well, I'm just saying, look, he's the one up there that got made a fool of, Chris Rock. You know what I'm saying? Like, as a man, to get slapped on national television in front of all these damn people. I'm just saying, if you're going to at least get his input.
If that's the case, Perry,
okay. If this man say, hey, I don't want shit to happen, then was it really ever a crime? If
how come if I slapped you, if I stabbed you, and we go to court, the judge doesn't ask me, what do I think should happen?
Well, listen.
Okay, but they ain't going to court.
Unfortunately, Will Smith has to be made the scapegoat, because what happened in the past, the board can't do anything about. We have to prevent this from happening again in the future, and we have to start somewhere. So we're gonna have to start with Will Smith. I'm sorry.
But Will Smith be and a whole lot of other people, because there are people that allowed him to stay. If you calling me to be the host of this show, protect the talent. Protect the talent. How is somebody walking up from the audience and going to just smack me in the face?
Mm-hmm.
Protect the talent.
I agree with that. Protect the talent and all of that. I'm just saying the rules need to be put in place first. That way, it's going to be fair across the board. We know what's going to happen when this happens.
Okay, and what I'm saying is, since you said the rules need to be put in place, right?
Just like that.
No. I'm gonna slide I've been married to you for a long time. I'm gonna slide my hands too. Okay, I'm just saying this. If that's the case, why are you arguing with me? I don't think that the board should have to decide nothing without Chris Rock input.
That's even crazier.
Okay, no. Okay,
so my question.
You saying don't answer with Chris, just go and make a decision. What decision? The board.
That's why there's a board. You're in charge of rules, how things are run.
Right. If a person feels violated, it's a complaint among the board. If that person didn't feel that way, what kind of a complaint is on the board at the time? Like, what are you discussing? If Chris don't have a problem
this is what they're discussing, Perry. They discussing the fact that they messed up too. That's why we got to split this down the middle. When he went up there and slapped this man on the face, it was the duty of all of them and the people producing that show to let Will Smith go ahead and leave. This man wanted to leave, right? So let him leave, but y'all beg him to stay. Somebody who just assaulted somebody.
That's even crazier. You want to blame the producer.
I want to blame everybody, Sharrell. Everybody got to take a piece of this. If you are at work and somebody assaults you and those supervisors and managers allow that person to continue and finish out his work day, and I got slapped.
Diva.
This is what I think. I think that the board has to make the decision. Chris Rock can't make the decision for the board.
Chris Rock cannot. That's crazy.
Because next year, if somebody else do it, they can't be a part of what the board's decision is.
Right.
The board has to set in place the rules from here going forward. This is what's going to happen if this happens again. This has to be done by the board. That's why they elected a board, so that they can. Chris Rock cannot run the board. He's not part of the Oscar part of that. So he was a producer. I mean, he was the what do you call it? The MC of the show, and he's the one that was targeted, but he can't make. That's like going to jail and saying, well, let the prisoner come in and help make a decision.
Well, no. B.
What we gonna do with him?
B, let me correct you with that. That is not the case, because the inmate is the person who did the assaulting. Okay, now if you worked at a place, like Diva said, management should do something. Now, management got to back up their part too now, because let's not just go. I said, if Chris Rock ain't got a problem with it, seems how the board don't want to do a damn thing about it anyway.
If something happened,
let's keep that correct. The board don't want to do nothing. Where's their decision, B?
But because you just said if something happened, management should do something. They should. But they don't go and ask the person to help make.
That is crazy, Perry.
Okay. So you said leave it all up to the board, but the board has to take accountability too, right?
Yes, they do.
Because the board make the rules that Sharrell want in place, right?
Right.
Okay. So where's the rules at? Why wasn't it followed through with?
I'm gonna tell you why.
He slapped somebody, and he was not escorted out. He was not escorted out. So
that's where we at now.
If I was working for your company, V, and you let somebody slap me like that, and you don't do nothing to them, who am I looking at? Well, first of all, I'm looking at the person who slapped me. I might have to get revenge on them.
Eric,
I'm looking at you for not being responsible.
You didn't answer the question. If you commit a crime, the judge does not go to the victim and say, "What do you want to happen to this person?" Because you got to follow the rules.
You know what though? Now, let me correct you a little bit. Maybe not directly like that, but in most crimes like that, when right before sentencing, they give the family a chance to speak.
Yeah.
They give the family a chance to speak.
Right.
Speak, but not decide what's going to happen to them.
No. The board make the decision. But if Chris go in there and say, "Hey, you know what though? Hey, it was a bad day. I don't want nothing to happen."
Well, that's his opinion. Good. Thank you, Chris.
Okay, right. Just like
for coming in that part. And talking about your opinion, but the board is gonna take a vote now. We're gonna make a decision of what we're gonna do with
this. That's why you have a board. Carey.
Okay, right. If Chris Rock ain't so important to the board, why haven't the board made a damn decision?
You know why they haven't made
it? Talking about the board decision right now, right?
No,
how do you know they haven't?
Well, we ain't heard anything.
We haven't heard.
That don't mean that they haven't.
God, I'm sorry, B. You want to know why they're struggling? Because they know they have ownership in this too. And they're going to get a lot of backlash if they don't come out with a neutral decision that is understandable to all. And the Oscars, unfortunately, will never be the same because now they're going to have security all by the stage, and they never had this situation before. The bigger picture is that Will messed up. We had the biggest opportunity this year with Will Packard, producing it, with them letting us in the building. And unfortunately, in certain situations, one person speaks for the whole community, okay? You was our entry into this, Will. You was part of our entry into this, and you messed up. Because in the back of their mind, they thinking, Sharrell, we see what happens, we let them in, we let them produce, we open the door to them, and look at these shenanigans. That's why those people on the board are pissed. That's why, what's his name, that the comedian that just spoke?
I agree with all of that. I agree with all of that.
Me too.
But I don't agree with we're going to punish Will Smith now because he messed up for other Black people, Will Packard and the staff. Don't forget, these people have jobs. Now they're all not going to be able to have jobs anymore because of Will Smith. I don't think they should be affected. They didn't have anything to do with Will's decisions. So why punish production?
Sharrell, because unfortunately, go ahead.
He did super chat.
If somebody robs a bank, right? I gotta go to jail too, and I'm the teller. I'm just at work.
I get it.
Anybody want to argue?
Sharrell, no.
I want you to read the super chat. I didn't want to interrupt.
Right.
Oh, let me see. Okay, super sessions. But somebody approved that joke to go ahead. That's true. They need to be addressed too. Okay, now we want the joke writer to hold responsibility too.
Okay. Now, what caused the issue? Supposedly,
the joke.
It was the joke.
You want the joke?
Okay.
Have a consequence.
Y'all going too far now.
No.
What about the people that decorated the stage?
Don't do that. Don't do that.
Okay. Let me answer that with B. The decorations wasn't the issue.
Well, it was there.
Now, when he walked in and seen that little shining light, that didn't set Will off.
Right. You know what?
That they approved.
The joke that they approved. You know why, Sharrell? Somebody said it, I think, on your second show yesterday, and it connected with me. It resonated with me, right? Every time, they always want to indirectly pit us against each other and make us look crazy when we're doing something. So that joke did get approved. And maybe Chris Rock didn't know about her condition. Hold on for a minute, Sharrell. Maybe Chris Rock didn't know about her condition, but you can't tell me somebody at that table did not. Okay,
you want the person to approve the joke.
Let me add to that, Sharrell. Even with Regina Hall, I think it was appalling that she was patting those men down on stage. Who approved that? I think every time we do get in the door to do something, they have us acting like fools, have us doing foolery stuff. You think that was okay that she was patting down Jason Momoa and the other guy?
Listen, she is not going to be punished for that at all.
I don't want her to be punished. But I'm saying, do you see how they make her look crazy?
I think you're going overboard, Diva. You're going overboard.
The Oscars are very classy. The Oscars has always been very classy. So you let us in the door and you want us to act straight foolish. You have a female patting down two men.
Will Smith behavior. That's what he did. You want the joke writer to pay a prize, the person to approve the joke to pay the prize. Will Smith gets, Chris Rock gets to write out the punishment. Y'all are just ridiculous.
I want everybody that participated in the shenanigans to pay the price.
You want Will Packard to pay the price? What should happen to Will Packard, Diva?
Let me tell you this, Sharrell. I'm not saying anything to bear for all of them, but he has ownership in this. You were producing the show. You can't let somebody open hands slap me, the talent, and he's lucky that Chris Rock handled it that way. Or it could have been a whole brawl at the Oscars.
The board is one thing.
Go ahead.
The board is one thing. The other part of that has nothing to do with the board. That's separate. The other part of that is the coordinator of the show and people that write the jokes. These are all separate entities. You can't group all that together and say the board should do something about everybody in here, in the room, because that's just not how it works. It works.
Okay, V. So what should happen?
The board has to make a decision on what rules they're gonna set in place for people to get up out of their seat from now on and go up on that stage for any reason.
We agree to that. Board. That's true.
The board. Now,
right, but what should happen
the joke writers and the people that approve it, they may be the same people this year, and next year they may be other people, somebody else.
Right.
So it's just gonna be based on next year who writes the jokes and what they approve and what they don't. That has nothing to do with the board. The board is there, set in place for every year. Okay, so you guys are mixing this all together and saying, "Oh, everybody in the whole world should be punished because they was there that night."
No, V. Because really, I said if Chris Rock said he ain't got a problem with it, I said nobody should be punished. That's why.
That's so ridiculous.
The DA can still push. If Chris Rock said he doesn't have a problem with it, why is it the DA can still go in and press charges? Why?
Because it's assault. It's assault.
Because they have an option, right?
So what does Chris Rock have to do with it?
The DA do have that right, but have they done that?
Right. So what is
don't change the subject, Perry.
If I know right now,
is Chris Rock supposed to go to the DA and help make that decision there?
The board is
I see it. I'm okay. I'm okay.
The board still
grab some water, V. Grab some water.
The board.
I just got a chat from somebody in the chat that's kind of connected to Hollywood. They said that Chris Rock didn't write the joke by anyone. It was an off the cuff and unplanned, according to sources.
Okay.
So there go your punishment.
Let me read this really quick. Bobby says, I feel that we can all agree that Will Smith has done something really wrong. Yes, of course. He was protecting his wife, but physical assault should not be warranted.
Well, thank you, Bobby.
I would agree.
Thank you, Bobby.
No one's saying that physical assault is acceptable. My thing is, let's put the rules down first. Let's have some order here, law and order, to figure out what should happen if this happens again. But because there was no rules in place in 73, in 2020, then everybody should just get the same punishment.
But Sharrell, what I'm trying to say to you is there is a rule about touching somebody else, putting your hands on somebody else.
There was a rule for that back in 73. It was a rule for that back also in 73 when John Wayne decided to go after this innocent Native American girl.
You're right. Yeah. Look, I'm just saying this. I don't know what the board truly should do, but I think obviously if the board knew what they wanted to do, they probably would have done something. But I'm just saying, like, at this point, they don't really know. But if the board gonna go overboard, they need to take some kind of accountability too.
All right, let me start taking calls. I was gonna drop you guys. I'm gonna still have to.
Because I'm so mad at you right now.
We need to be up here to defend our time.
Let me try to bring a couple people up and see what they say.
No, look, Diva.
Oh,
she needs to drop me.
Oh no, here you go.
This is a heated conversation.
Yeah,
and I'm straight out saying, Smoke, what side of the fence do you lay on, me or Diva?
I'm with, on a rare occasion, I'm with Diva today. I am with Diva today.
Make it make sense, Smoke. How is this making sense?
Because I mean, granted, yes, I was Team Will when it all happened, but now that I have a full picture of how things went down during the commercial, and that Will Packer people were asking him to stay, and then how he was at the party, I'm like, there has to be some consequence for his action. It can't go unpunished. And unfortunately, it's a black man that's setting the precedent for them to have to put these rules and standards in place.
Listen,
yes.
You don't know what you would have did if you were the producer of that show during that situation. He put everybody in a bind. You do what you think is best at the time. You feel that Will Packer should suffer some kind of consequence also?
I'm not saying Will Packer. I'm saying Will Smith. Honestly, he should have been escorted out and been like, you knew tonight was your moment. You were winning all the awards across the board, so you knew they're not going to go with anyone else. So I get it. You were protecting your wife and with that, but you should have just still taken a high road, because now your moment, your one Oscar moment, is forever tarnished because you decided to get up and bitch slap a man on national TV and the whole world saw it.
Okay, fine. Listen. Okay, so you guys are all about punishing Will Smith. What should happen to Will Smith?
I say suspend him for, like, someone said 5 years. Suspend him for 5 years. Let him keep his Oscar.
5 years too long. I say suspend him for 1 year.
Let him talk. Let him talk.
Suspend.
Hold on.
Oh, Perry, I'm gonna get to you. Don't worry. I got enough in me. But no, suspend him. Suspend him for, okay, let's say the max is 5 years. They can decide in between what that is. Have him, like, meet with the Academy, I guess the board of governors or the actors branch, to kind of talk through this situation and mediate what happened, and also set in place. And even that thing you said, I was like, I knew the comedy writers should be punished, because when Chris Rock made that joke, he made that on the spot. That was not something that was approved, and I had a feeling about that. So that right there, I was like, so he went off script himself and decided to take that leap off the bridge. Joshua, get out of here with all that mess. Nobody paying attention to you.
Yeah, that's too much. That's too much.
That's great.
Banned for life, Joshua.
That's too much. That's too
much.
That's why we need rules. We need rules in place that if something happens, people clearly know what the consequences are. Mel, what side of the fence do you lay on in this argument?
Well, I'm going to be a moderate. I'm going to be down the middle of it, because I feel, actually, Ms. Sharrell, I think that we probably would not have known about 1973 incident unless Will Smith went up there and cold clocked, Mr. Chris Rock. I think that the Chris Rock incident, whatever. I don't think nothing bad's going to happen to him. I think he's going to keep his Oscar. He's going to stay fabulous. He's going to stay rich. He's going to stay cute. This is going to be his life. I think that maybe, they may have a conversation with him, but I don't think nothing's really going to happen. But I think what will happen, like you said, is that maybe, hopefully they will put standards and practices in for the future. I think maybe he might get reprimanded or something, but nothing bad is going to happen. All I could say to Will Smith is that he done turned the Oscars, as Ms. Diva said, he done turned the Oscars into a source of music awards or something, like
the Bible Awards.
Love and hip hop, love and hip hop.
Not the source, the source.
Remember back in the day when I was younger, I remember it was the Biggie Smalls, Tupac, and they were like, "I'm gonna get you," and they had all the things. I said, "Damn, now we turn into the source musical. What the hell?" So I think that I think that's the only thing he's guilty of. I also think this. So I talked about this. I don't have an issue with Will Smith reacting, and I want to clarify. I don't have I don't have an issue with him reacting for his family, but I would have loved him to do it in private. So the thing is that evening was so beautiful, diverse, one of the most diverse in years, with a beautiful Latino actress who first
the
time
deaf community
got award. We have the deaf community, so he should have been more conscious about all the artists there and say, you know what, I have an issue with this situation. I'm going to step to the back and say, I need to see you in the dressing room, if that's what you need to do. I don't have that, but I think that he sort of tarnish the evening. I think Jim Carey was saying something to that effect. So I just think that he turned up and just acted a hot mess. And I think he's a great actor, but I don't think anything's going to happen to him. But I think that they hopefully will be rules in effect for the future. Because I was going to say this: there's been many people in Hollywood who have had prostitutes and had drug issues, all type of stuff, and people have made fun of them right in the audience.
Or even Casey Affleck, he had like a sexual abuse case.
Well,
the list is long of people that need to be banned. But I have an insider in the audience who I invited to join the conversation, and they want to know, what do you guys think of some type of ban and anger management? Really?
I think therapy, like counseling, because there's something deeper going. I think there's something deeper going on for you to crack at your most important moment 100%. In your career.
Do you consider anger management therapy?
Yeah, it is. It is.
I don't think he has an anger problem.
I don't think he needs it though.
No, he does. When you don't know, as a grown man who is at the most prestigious award show there is, who is up for the Oscar, to hold your temper. The words he said when he sat down, he should have just said that instead of going up there and slapping him. So you go up there, you couldn't even control your composure. This man said it, and you just walk up in the stage and slap him. You do need help. Something is going on.
If Will Smith had that type of temper where every time somebody said something to him, he went off or went and hit somebody, then I think that's when anger management.
Right.
But this was a one-time thing. He lost his temper. I mean, you can't punish a man for one thing he did for the rest of his life.
I think there's many people in our community, and especially in the Black community, our brothers, who are more reactionary, more extreme. I think Will Smith is a little. He had a moment that was crazy, and then it tarnished the evening. I don't believe he should be banned in no way. I think that I don't think so. I think that like Ms. Sharrell was saying, there have to be strong rules put into place based on this incident. But based on the past history, the shady history of the Oscars, I don't think he warrants a ban, but I think they have to put rules in place.
All right, hold on. Okay,
so, Mill, are you saying that if anything happened to Will, that Chris should have some say-so in it?
Well, if he wanted to.
No. Because he could have had him. He could have had him arrested or whatever, right?
Perry gonna die on this sword today.
Let me do this. Okay. I have somebody in the audience that I invited that wants to hear public opinion. I'm sorry, panel. I'm gonna have to drop you. Say your last words, Diva.
Well, I want to say to Mel, I remember with and a lot of people, right? Y'all was beating Kanye West down with a stick. Because he was using his words. And then Will Smith actually used his hands. And y'all like, oh no, this was his first time. We cannot do this to him. We cannot punish him. We can't do anything. Y'all got to get it together.
I think that I don't think that Will Smith and Kanye in the same ballpark in my brain. Maybe it is just my own thing. But, I just think, I would say this too. I think I don't have an issue with Kanye West. I should have said the other day too. I do not have an issue with him. I would love to talk to him as I talk to my own brothers. But then this is not the conversation about Kanye tonight. But yeah, so that was my idea the other day, was that Kanye, I'm looking at him as my brother, and I tell my brothers the same thing. If you have an issue in your life, focus on the issue, because there's going to be a million haters out there. It's going to be trying.
Well, thank you. Because
let Perry. I got to end it here.
No, I got to say one last thing.
It's almost been an hour. I got to get more callers in.
All right.
Thank you guys for coming, talking. And I got to drop you, panel, because I'm really somebody wants to hear what other people are thinking.
Okay. All right.
Thank you guys. I appreciate it.
Bye, Mel.
Bye, guys. Take care. Bye, Perry. All right, let's start getting people in. Cocktails, Canelo, Autumn, Corey. Hi, guys.
Hi.
Sound off really quick. Look, hold on. Let me read this super chat. My thing is, how many times do you guys want Will Smith to apologize? Also, he was protecting his wife for those who are married. I guess they understood. Another one says, I think all comedians should have a live Netflix special next year during the Oscars and just make fun of all the people at the Oscars. Okay. Sound off with you first, Lisa, really quickly.
Number one, I'm gonna tell you like this right here. I don't feel sorry for Will Smith. What the hell y'all feeling sorry for him for? I'm gonna tell them he was sitting right his ass sitting right up there. When he made that damn joke, he was laughing his goddamn ass.
But we're past that. We're not saying feel sorry for. We said what should happen to Will Smith.
I'm sick of it. He deserves something got to be done.
What?
Okay?
That's the question.
That's
What?
old Hollywood. People keep talking about John Wayne and all them motherfuckers. That's old Hollywood.
But what should
This is
be
we in
done?
the 21st century. We in the
I
21st
agree with all that.
century.
But what should happen to Will Smith?
He should. I mean, I don't know right now. I do at first. I'm gonna tell you too. At first, I did think about them taking his Oscar. Then I said, no, he worked hard for it. Okay, he did work hard for it. It was a good movie. Give him praise on that. But he destroyed his career on that one night. Okay,
Canelo.
and plus, where I be from, where I'm feeling from it took us as Africa. And I hate to do this. I hate to say this. And don't say it's not a double standard. It is a double standard for black and whites. It is.
Well, that's
And
what
we've
I'm
been
asking
fighting
you.
to get on
Well,
that. We've been fighting to get them Oscars. We've been fighting for so long.
Okay, Canelo, what do you think should happen to Will Smith?
All I say is there should be some consequences. He at least I agree with banning him for at least a year because all of this stuff is not, it's like a touchy subject. He should be banned. His Oscar should stay where it is. Give him a chance to, see what he did wrong. Let the board decide what they should do. I think the board should start implementing rules. If you go up to the stage, touch anybody on the stage, you're escorted out and you will never attend again. That's my point on that.
Autumn's mom, what should happen to Will Smith?
I think if there has to be consequences, it should be something such as probably maybe a suspension for a year and let him pay a huge fine that within that money that they have, use that to pay for security going forward, say for the next 10 years, something to that magnitude, something that makes sense, that it's going to be a reason for it. Okay, we're going to charge you this money now that we have to have security.
That's a good one.
Yeah, we're not going to eat this. You eat that. I don't understand all this fake outrage that people seem to act like there's nothing but saints walking this earth. Nobody has ever made a mistake. No one's ever just snapped out and lost their cool. Someone could be a stellar person for 30 years of their life, not a blemish on their record, have one outburst, and now all of a sudden they scum on the bottom of your shoes. These are the same people that I'm sure they have disciplined their children and probably have slapped their own kids for less. But now all of a sudden, violence is never the answer. Let's keep it 100. What people are really mad at, they're either mad at one or two things. They're either mad because Will went up there and showed his behind in front of them white people and you embarrassed, or two, you don't understand his lifestyle with his wife, and you can't get away with what Jada gets away with her husband and what Will gets away with his wife, and you want them to suffer for it.
I wish I had more time. I would expand on it. That's interesting. Corey, what should happen to Will Smith?
Lose his career over that mess right there, because he was sitting up there laughing the whole darn time when the joke, and when the camera went off.
Okay, Lisa, I'm on a time clock. I'm on a time clock. Corey, what should happen to Will Smith?
Okay, first of all, I don't agree he should have his Oscar taken. Second, I don't know about suspending for a year. They need to suspend some other people.
Yeah, I agree.
How about that?
Other people like who?
Like that racist John Wayne.
But he did, Corey.
They can still take away.
What, Corey? What?
They can still take that. They've taken his statues and stuff down. So that's something that can be done. He's dead, but his statues are gone. Okay.
All right.
There's something that can be done. But Will Smith is not the first person to have a momentary break, because they are so pressured and people are just dogging them left and right. Chris Rock knew he was wrong when he opened his lips and said, "Oh, but that's a nice one, though." And he knew that woman had alopecia.
All right, okay. I got to keep it short because we got to just talk about what should happen to him. Thank you, guys. I appreciate the call. Take care, guys.
See you later,
Sharrell. Thank you, Canelo. Okay, lots going on today. Trying to get some callers in. Thank you, Canelo. Appreciate it. Hey, Bonji. Hey, AJ. Hi, Robin. Let's start with you, Bonji, because you are going off on me in the chat. What should happen to Will Smith?
Thank you, Sharrell. I love you, but all the panel smoking weed today.
because this doesn't make
Hold
sense.
on. Someone has a tab open and it's echoing.
I love you. But
it's Robin. It's you,
Hi.
Robin.
That's me. That's me.
Yeah, that's you, Robin.
Oh.
Let me turn it off. Sorry.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's start with you, AJ. What should happen to Will Smith very quickly?
Well, Will Smith, something's got to happen to him because, you know, Chris got robbed.
That's the dilemma. What?
I mean, Chris got robbed, so something's got to happen. This is what could happen, right? So when you win an Oscar, you automatically become a member,
right?
Meaning that you vote for other movies,
exactly.
Which all of these Robert De Niro, presumably did, and then they probably were disappointed with him.
Right.
Thinking, oh my God, he's gone up there and done that, and we just voted him for the best male of the Oscars. So maybe that could be a great way to take him down. I think so. And because I tell you why.
No, I don't understand what you're saying. What should happen?
Well, what should happen was, I think he should basically be revoked of all his Oscar rights, basically to vote for movies.
Keep the Oscar, but don't have the rights to go with it?
Well, yeah, don't vote for any movie.
He earned the Oscar. AJ's right.
Yeah,
he earned the Oscar.
yeah.
You can't take that from him. But he should not have
But then he's not allowed to vote anymore?
He should not have that because he really destroyed his privilege.
Sorry,
he should also not be able to go and present what is customary, the next year's best male actor winner. He should be stripped of that opportunity of that because of his horrible behavior. And can I ask a question, Sharrell?
We got to make it quick because I'm really trying to get a lot of people.
Why is nobody talking about the joke itself? It was the Oscars. He made a reference to a movie, an old movie. Now, everybody doesn't get on Sharrell's World to know what's happening with everybody day to day. I can't believe that today I told somebody I'd rather hear about the Kardashians than about this because it's so painful. And I think that another thing that Will Smith should do is he should be responsible for another ceremony or celebration for everybody who had a win. Let's start with Questlove that he jacked the whole moment up for.
Yeah.
Done.
All right, guys, I got to keep it short today.
Bye.
Thank you so much for calling, and I appreciate the call.
Thank you, Sharrell.
Take care, guys.
Thank you. Bye.
Okay, let's get more people in here. Hey, Sin. Hey, Candace.
Hi, you guys.
Hey, great. Let's start with you, Sin. Answer the question because people are going off the rails here. What should happen to Will Smith?
I think he should keep his Oscar, make him pay a fine, and the money goes towards anger management in his name. Because you're up there making a fool out of yourself on national TV, and that showed anger, you know. And then he goes back to his seat to say, "Keep my wife's name out your motherfucking mouth." Okay, so I think he should keep the Oscar and also pay a big fine and donate it to anger management or something in his name to make him look crazy.
Candace, what do you think?
I think he should go through what anybody else would have to go through. I think he should be fingerprinted and must. What? I do. I think that he is not above the law. And I like Will Smith. Don't get me wrong. I love him. I love all his movies. You know, but what you don't do, he took it away from everybody.
When you say fingerprint, you mean arrested?
Yeah, well, I think he should be Chris should press charges or whoever. The county. I think there should be charges because he assaulted that man and then had the audacity. He's had no repercussions from anything he's done yet. See, it could have been easier if this is what he could have done. If he had gone up there and slapped him and then the people in charge said, okay, you're going to have to go. This is not okay. Some kind of repercussions. If he had gone up there and at least apologized for his behavior, if he at least had said, you know, heat of passion, I'm so sorry, Chris. I should have done this better as a man. We'll talk about it later. I hope you accept my apologies. He should apologize to everybody. He definitely, but he wasn't doing what a man should really do, what a human being should have done, period. He's been waltzing through this. He's just showing off what he's done. He went to a party afterward.
Yeah, well, okay. That was a bad look. Yeah, that was a bad look.
Pictures and nothing, and nobody cared about Chris. All I keep hearing about is Will. I love me some Will Smith, but I like me some Chris Rock too. Chris was doing his job. He was doing what he was getting paid for. He gave a little petty joke. The girl has been embracing her hair, her bald hair, for having alopecia. She said she owned it. She looked like she owned it. That girl was wearing that dress. She looks good. Jada is bad regardless. She should have protected her man. I just have to say this. When your man's going to go to protect you, and you know he's about to put himself in a bad situation, you stop him. You said that.
The problem is Chris Rock has done this.
I don't have time for the conversation. Said I don't. D Green, what should happen to Will Smith? D, you're on mute. D Green, I hate to do it. All right.
Hello. Sorry, I was frozen. Okay. Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah, really quickly. What should happen to Will Smith? Because this is a serious dilemma here.
Well, I agree with the previous caller in that he's not above the law. However, that would be up to Chris to decide because he had already been contacted. Well, because he was contacted by the police. They were notified of an event happening. Chris had opportunity then to press charges. And it's kind of a toss up for me because, again, if Chris wants to press charges, that's up to him. But again, Will is not above the law or these actions. So I think the Oscars need to visit their bylaws and figure out what they want to do going forward. Do not revoke his Oscar, but you can't enforce like a punishment that you haven't had to enforce before or that you didn't enforce when someone else did something similar.
I agree. All right. Thank you so much, D.
No problem.
Okay. Take care, guys. Take care.
You too. Bye.
Okay. Thank you so much, Candace. You're really pretty. I like your hair. All right. Let's bring in some more callers. We've got Dustin, we got Sin, and we got Naomi. Hi, let's start with you, Dustin. Really quickly, what should happen to I almost said Chris Brown, to Will Smith?
Well, I don't think they should take away his Oscar, but I think they should get at least go off, take a year off of the Oscars.
Some kind of suspension?
Yes.
What about you, Sin, from the city?
Okay. I think he should keep his Oscar. He earned it. I think he should be, maybe not arrested, but he should be on assault charges. They need to charge all charges. Remember when Halle Berry went to get her award, Adrian Brody kissed her in the mouth? That was gross. That wasn't warranted. They didn't do anything about it. Will was wrong as two left shoes. Chris was wrong. I think they both owe each other an apology. I think Will lost it. I think he was a little bit still in King Richard mode, but at the same time he was pissed because he was laughing, and when he looked at Jada and she wasn't, he had to do something different. He got up there and cocked that man in the face, and he had his hand behind his back. That's why I thought he was probably fake, because he had his hand behind back. He didn't defend himself at all. They should.
What about you, Naomi? What do you think should happen?
Obviously, I feel like they should have handled it a little bit better in the moment. Like they should have maybe just removed him for 30 minutes to like give him a little cool down period and then like bring him back into the show quietly or whatever. But I think that there was a lot of things like going on like at play in that moment. Because for one, Chris has a history with talking bad about Jada. And then for two, Demi Moore was also the same woman that like cheated on and left her husband for a younger Ashton Kutcher, which is kind of the same thing that Jada is kind of going through with August. And yeah, and I feel like because of that, like I think that Chris, especially because it was improvised, like he definitely deserved a slap. Like I don't know, like I feel like in where I'm from, like a cop wouldn't even arrest you for a slap like that. That's not like assault where I'm from. That's just like a little dispute, you know, misunderstanding.
On live TV.
Thank you guys for calling in. I appreciate the call. Take care, guys.
You look pretty, Sharrell.
You're most welcome.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Take care. Bye-bye, guys.
Motion that you have to do.
Oops, I hit the wrong button. Let me do this.
I'm still here.
I know. Sorry. Hold on. Take care, Dustin. Nice seeing you. Haven't seen you in a while. All right. Some more. We've got Bonji. Welcome back. Hey, Lola. Hey, Ro. Is it Ro?
Hey. Rowan.
Hey. Okay. Let's start with Bonji because you wanted to talk. What should happen to Will Smith?
First of all, he can keep his Oscar because he earned it and worked hard for it. But I believe they should suspend him, not for a year, maybe 3 to 5 years, because that was assault. And
a suspension for 3 to 5 years?
Closed doors. Yes. And because it's an assault that happened in front of all of us, we all saw it. We could even sue Will Smith for PTSD because they keep playing it over and over and over again.
Yeah. What about you, Lola? What should happen?
Okay. I don't think they should take away his Oscar. I think he should be fine. But I have a completely different idea, and y'all gonna think I'm crazy, but let me finish. I think next year he should have to host the Oscars with Chris Rock, and Chris Rock earns his salary. No, but it shows solidarity. Hold on. It'll show solidarity, and also he'll keep Will Smith's check for the Oscar host.
What? Ro, what do you think should happen, Rowan?
No, I think he should do, you know what? I don't think he should take away his Oscar because there's a lot of people who have been crazy on there. But let him do something public service wise since Chris Rock didn't file charges. Yeah, like do a PSA or like talk to people at schools or something about anger or about, because they are tightly wound, how to make better choices or something of the like.
All right, you guys. Thank you so much for your opinion. I appreciate you guys calling in.
Thank
you.
Okay.
Sharrell, I like your hair.
Thank you, Lola. I'm gonna have to wrap it up here. Listen, this is a serious situation. I mean, I felt like I can't keep talking about Will Smith, but the Academy has an important decision to make, and I don't know what's gonna happen, but I'll keep you updated. This is crazy, Will Smith. It just affected so many people what you did. And I know you apologized, but you messed up, buddy. You messed up. All right. I wanted to thank everyone for your super chats. You don't have to support the channel, and you do. So I appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. I wanted to thank everyone in the chat for all of your great suggestions because, I mean, this is unprecedented. I mean, John Wayne did it a long time ago, but still, nobody expected this to happen. It's just really devastating. I wanted to apologize if I didn't get to your callers. I'm simply out of time. With that being said, this was a great conversation, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Until next time, bye for now.